What up, AndStilltv in the building, coming back at y'all with another one. This past weekend, Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. We got to talk about it. That boy Errol showed out like we thought he would. Let's go over the fight. Let's go over how each of them looked. But first, cue the intro.
I'm handsome, I'm bad, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
Man, we just gonna get right to it this time. I promise. I'm living in a prophecy. And I feel ain't nobody hot as me. Ain't nobody strong as we. I'm flexing on your heroes. I'm working on your prodigy. Stay away from envy, boy. That haters suck the strong to see. I think I might have came too strong on that. And they might think it's something wrong with that. Let me take it back.
And still.
Yo, Aaron!
Quick!
Welcome back, YouTube. Hey, ready to cook now. So we had a great fight yesterday.
Yes,
Spence
sir.
Garcia. We're going to talk about what happened inside the ring. What you think, Aaron?
Man, it went exactly as I predicted. We gotta run the tapes.
I think the way I predicted it was more precise because I actually made a bet. That my bet was if Danny, I said either Errol going to stop him, and if it go to distance, Danny won't win more than 4 rounds on 2 cards. He won 4 rounds on 2 cards.
Yeah.
But they were being the judges were in a giving mood. They had a Christmas spirit because I really think he won 2 rounds, maybe 3.
It was a couple swing ones. It was
Yeah.
a couple swing rounds because what I will say is that Danny won the exchanges when they were both standing still. When they were both still in the middle of the ring, Danny won those exchanges because he punches off rhythm and
You know
his
why?
shots look real crisp and
The reason why he won those exchanges because that's his game. His game is to punch while you're punching, so he's used to getting hit.
right.
And he's trying to give back.
And
Whereas Errol, he's trying to hit you and not get hit. So when you hit him, he shies away, he backs up,
Yeah.
So
But not only that, Errol works better when he's moving forward. So like when they were both still, like standing still, like Danny just works a lot better that way. But I did, for everybody that didn't see any of the previous predictions, I did say 8-4. 2 of the 3 judges had it on that, and it could have been 10-2, Errol. But I could see 8-4 as well. And I think a lot of people underestimated Danny a little bit. I think he's so strong. Like he's really hard to get out of there. Like he's a really strong guy. Like not just like as a boxer, just like physically strong. Those type of guys are really hard to knock out. They just are.
yeah. I think Errol could have gotten a stoppage. It wouldn't have been by a drop or anything. It would have been like accumulation of punches. But he got tired in 7th round, 8th round?
Yeah, he started to gas out. Errol, and I was telling Quick this off camera, that was the highest work rate I've ever seen him had. And he already has a high work rate. But that was different. And I think Errol came in with a little bit less muscle. He looked a little lighter to me. His feet looked a lot faster. I was telling Quick, he reminded me of a Sean Porter, actually, with just better boxing skills and fundamentals, with higher hands. But the way he was moving his feet, and he was just so in and out,
And
more than I've ever seen.
he was blocking a lot of those, too.
Well, remember, I told you, he doesn't move his head a lot.
Yeah.
He blocks. His defense is blocking. You got guys like Pernell Whitaker who ain't going to block nothing. They just moving their head around. And then, on the flip side of Errol Spence, his defense is his guard's high and tight, his elbows are tight, and he's just walking right at you.
Again, that's why I feel like Danny was winning those exchanges. Because when Danny's throwing, Errol's not trying to throw. He's trying to, he's blocking everything.
He's blocking everything, yeah. And his shots, and like I said, Danny's shots, they looked a little more crisp in the middle of the ring.
They looked more powerful. I feel like
They
Errol
had more of
would
a pop. The sound was there with him.
Errol would touch, pop,
Yeah.
touch, then boom, Danny would hit him.
Exactly. So, I think Danny had the wrong game plan. I don't know if he had I don't know if he could do what he needed to do. The first thing you have to do when you fight a pressure fighter is you have to know how to neutralize the pressure. So you got to do whatever you got to do to make him stop coming forward. If your game plan is to stand in the middle of the ring and box, and the other guys is to come at you the whole time, your job is to make sure he can't do that. Whether that's drive your shoulder into his chest every time he walk in, throw elbows at him. You remember Floyd would drive his forearm into your neck to make it. That's why he did that, because he didn't like to be pressured. And he knew if he stopped you in the middle of the ring, it was a wash. So when you box, if you're a boxer, The other guy's a pressure fighter. You got to neutralize pressure. His corner wasn't saying nothing about it. And I'm like, dude, you got to drive your elbow into his neck, put your shoulder in his chest. He didn't do any of that, and he still would have lost. But that was the right game plan for Danny Garcia. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think whenever Errol was jabbing, as long as Errol had the jab going, Danny would be on the back foot. As soon as Errol stopped jabbing, that's when they kind of, stand their ground a little, and Errol will back up when he gets hit or he's trying to block something.
Exactly.
So, but overall, I liked Errol's performance. Comeback fight.
Liked it a lot, man.
He beat Danny more convincingly than anyone ever has.
Yeah.
So I heard a lot of people, mostly Bud fans, saying, "Oh, he didn't look good." Or, I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, he just beat a top welterweight."
This and
convincingly.
Emphasis on top welterweight. Like Danny Garcia is a good fighter.
He made it look easy too.
He did. He made it look easy. Like from the first round to the last round, he was at least one level above this dude the entire time. And here's the thing. I was actually telling my dad before the fight, I was like, this is gonna be that fight for Errol where he shows whether or not he's on that level of top tier of all time. If you show you 2 or 3 levels above a guy like this, will you just make him look like a complete amateur, or you're one level above him? And I thought he was at one level above him. Like I told everyone one of the last vids, he's better at boxing than Danny Garcia in just about every way.
If I got to critique anything with Errol, it would be his stamina, where he took a couple rounds off. And like you said, he didn't have the same pop that I thought he should have had. I know a lot of that might have been Danny taking the punches better, but I just didn't see it there. And he did mention after the fight that he's going to hire his strength and conditioning coach that he had before. He tried to do it all on his own. So that may have been part of it.
Yeah, see, I actually disagree. I think his stamina was great. I just think anytime your work rate is that high and you're that size, you're going to get tired.
So you think maybe that his
work rate was higher than normal.
Maybe the moment and his desire to try to get rid of Danny.
You could tell he was so amped up. There was no way he's not getting tired fighting like that. I don't care. I think he was in top shape. I really do.
Yeah, he looked like a machine. What round was that, 5?
I don't remember what
he looked like a machine when he was just he beat Danny up pretty good.
And you can see Danny slowing down. He's cranking it up, and I'm like, there is no. First of all, I was saying that there is no way Danny Garcia can win.
Yeah.
If you're beating if their work rate was even, Danny Garcia wasn't gonna win. Errol Spence, his work rate was that crazy. There is no way he's not getting tired of that, and that's exactly why I actually picked Errol 8 rounds to 4 because I know he has to take a round or 2 off.
You did say that, and I was like, he's not taking no rounds off.
Yeah,
He's not gonna do it.
And the way he fights, even with his normal work rate, with his size, you're gonna want to take a round or 2 off if you're not getting somebody out of there.
But I feel like he worked harder against Sean though.
I don't. I think no.
I didn't see him take rounds off. They were banging from round 1 to 12.
Just the amount of. I would have to look at the punch stats, but I would be willing to bet he threw more against Danny Garcia.
I'm glad you brought up the punch stats.
Okay.
So they had it 707 to 700 total punches thrown.
No way. No, I was looking at the punch stats though, because the good thing about Showtime is that they show it the whole time during the fight. You remember CompuBox on HBO? They would show it every now and then, like the end of every round.
Yeah.
You can actually see it ticking, like amateur boxing when you watch the Olympics, and you could actually see it ticking. And I'm like, dude, he just landed that, and they didn't add.
I think they were counting every time he hit Spence's gloves, maybe.
Well, and they were
that's
also
thrown though, but still, even.
But they also weren't counting. Yeah, it was just off altogether. There's no way he threw as many. There's just no way.
No way.
Like he was in his chest the whole time. Like,
even the analyst said that it was like, I don't think he threw 7 more punches.
Yeah.
It's more like 107.
Exactly. Like 150, like at least probably. But I also think that you mentioned Errol Spence's power. I think the lack of pop had something to do with, because he clearly had a little less muscle to me.
Yeah.
But I think the lack of pop had to do a lot with just Danny being a really sturdy fighter.
Yeah.
I do. Like, you can tell Danny has a really strong neck. Like he kind of fights kind of stiff. And his defense is underrated too a little bit.
I think you're better off trying to hurt Danny to the body than to the head.
I think so too. Like he just has that build, and you can see it at the weigh-in. He was wider. He's a little wider than Errol, and I guess I'm not gonna go there yet because we're gonna do another vid on that. But
all right, but in closing, man, we love the fight. Congrats to Danny. I still want to see more of Danny. Congrats to the champ, Big Fish, man down. Man
down, baby.
Let's
one
go.
thing before you end it. One thing about Danny, kudos to you because the first thing you said after the fight is you had no excuses. You was a better man tonight, and I love that. Like, he came in crazy shape. Danny Garcia did. He fought the best fight that he could. Like I said, I already critiqued what he could have done better. But I love that, man. When you come in and say that, bro,
I agree. I loved everything Danny said until Angel got on him and changed that. But we're gonna get into that in the next video. All right, and still
remaining undefeated, proving he is one of the elite champions of the sport today, and still